And we are live, folks, here on the Dogs Maniac Entertainment YouTube channel for another edition of Junior and Junior. I am your host, Jared Running Jr., as always, joined by my best friend.
Dale Sunfield Jr.
So, Dale, let's get this show on the road. You know us, a chaotic folks. We supposed to start at 8:30. It's 8:38. When have we ever started at 8:30? Should just change the description to 8:30 ish.
Ish. I like that.
All right, we're gonna kick the show off by talking some opening day baseball. It's here, Dale. The best day of the year, opening day, or a national holiday, in my opinion. So,
Yep. Take that mixed. Take that, Mr. Hicks.
yeah, it is. It is. Um, gonna talk about three games here. We're gonna talk about our two teams playing today, as well as the World Series champions. But I'll kick it off with the Phillies. My team. Phillies are at the Texas Rangers for a matchup in Arlington. Your opening day pitchers are Aaron Nola for a sixth straight year for the Phillies, and the big free agent signing from the New York Mets, Jacob DeGrom, takes the hill for the Rangers. As a Phillies fan, you know what I'm thinking is I thought DeGrom was gone, and yet here we are opening day and have to see him again. But it's okay, he'll get injured after like the first inning because that's Jacob DeGrom for you. Um, I'm liking our chances. I think that these are two very underrated teams. I think teams are looking past the Rangers. I think the Rangers have a solid roster. I think somehow people are looking past the Phillies, which it doesn't make sense. Huh? They were just in the World Series. The
Hmm.
defending NLCS winner, the National League champions, the National League pennant winners, however you want to put it. Um, Starting off the season here, and they're already being overlooked like it was a fluke, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and I think all the reports they're not even in the top five.
Yeah, it's time for them to come out with a chip on their shoulder and prove that this team with Trey Turner is going to be better. And yeah, they're missing Reese Hoskins, but they were underrated before Reese Hoskins. And if Bryce Harper's your reason to underrate him, Bryce Harper will be back essentially the end of next month. So yeah, and I don't mean April, I mean end of May,
Hmm.
but he may be back sooner. He's not on the 60-day IL, so that's a positive if you're looking at it on the field of when is Bryce Harper coming back, because that means they think he's going to be back before May 29th. So, I don't know. I think that the Phillies really are going to come out of the gate here and try and show it to the Rangers, but the Rangers have a solid lineup. They have Jacob DeGrom now. It's should be a fun to watch matchup, but obviously I'm cheering for the Phillies. Go Phils! Now tell us about your Brewers, yeah.
Yeah. Brewers play the Cubs today at Wrigley Field. Start time, I believe, is about 2:20 p.m. Central Standard Time. On the hill is for the second straight year Corbin Burns, former NL Cy Young winner, versus Marcus Stroman. So, yeah, overall, game should be a good one to watch. Again, like your Phillies, I feel like my Brewers are getting underhyped. I feel like this is a pretty solid, good team. Like, by no means did the Cardinals improve at all. They've had the same team they've had the last 4 or 5 years. So it's going to be a good one, and I think yeah, they just got to go out, prove the doubters wrong. I mean, they can win the division. They've done it before under less odds. Like, I think back in 2018, they were rated 23rd, 22nd in the league. They ended up going, being the runner-ups in the NL pennant. So, going to be a good season. But yeah, Corbin Burns is back on the hill. Got Brandon Woodruff's healthy, Peralta's healthy. got Wade Miley back. Got your twin. Uh, and yeah, Yelich. Yelich had a somewhat decent swing. Not average wise, not so much, but he at least made contact with the ball. They just called up Bryce Terang, one of their top prospects. So yeah, this season's going to be pretty good. I got a feeling for Brewer fans, so stay tuned.
Well, yeah, we did hear you have them with 93 wins this year, maybe even 95. Uh,
Hmm.
quite ambitious. Quite ambitious. We'll see how everything kicks off here, though, later this
See, see,
afternoon.
see, see. Not to hate on you, but that's what everybody says. Like, quite ambitious. Why is it like just ambitious? Like the
Well,
Cardinals.
this is why I think it's ambitious, personally. Because I have the Phillies winning 93 games on the high end. The defending National League champions winning 93 games. And they added the best shortstop in baseball. Arguably, maybe one of the best players in baseball, excluding Shohei Ohtani, because
Hmm.
Ohtani's just different. Um, and I don't know if the Brewers and the Phillies, like, at that point, because if we're talking when we made those predictions, I don't know if they're even remotely the same team. And I think it's quite ambitious to say that they're going to win
Hmm.
more games than the Phillies. Was my thinking there, at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if I feel good with 93 wins. I'm gonna stick with that because yeah, they won 87 last year. I think that they very much improved this year because you don't have the start of the year Joe
Hmm.
Girardi. You get a full year of Rob Thompson. So it's only 6 more wins. And they started off with like 20 losses. So,
Hmm.
yeah. No, I mean, it should be 2 good years for both our teams. The Phils, the Brewers, getting it off later today. But also, I don't like talking about this team because they keep telling me they won the World Series. I don't remember this happening. I remember they played like a best of three and the Phillies won two of them, but they didn't give them the title for some reason. I don't know what happened there. But the defense begins. The Chicago White Sox. No. Or at the Houston Astros. Dylan Cease taking the mound for the White Sox. Framber Valdez taking the mound for the defending World Series champion Houston Astros. Um, are the Astros still the team to be in the league? I think they were last year. I said going into the season, I think they were going to win the World Series. Um, I think that they probably still are. I've seen people kind of hyping up the Padres, but I don't know. I'm rolling with
I
the
mean,
Astros still.
the Astros. I feel like are, but they lost their ace.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Verlander, but if we're being real, I think their pitching is still. I think this is the Carlos Correa thing. I think their pitching is good. I think that a lot of Astros fans, you ask them, are going to say we had pitching in the system we could afford to lose. Verlander. It's kind of the same thing. It feels like where people say, "Oh, they let Carlos Correa go." Well, yeah, they let Carlos Correa go because they knew they had Jeremy Pena sitting in the minors, and look how that worked out. Uh,
Hmm.
Rookie of the Year, ALCS MVP, World Series MVP. So I'm not going to doubt the Astros. If they're letting somebody go, they know what they're doing. They have a
Yeah.
backup plan. I'm until they flame out. I'm just going to say, all right, yeah, you do you. And I'll just watch you.
And even after that whole stealing signs, they still like never lost a beat. Like
No, and
like like you know how the Red Sox they Correa got caught and then they ended up having Ron Meneke and then they went like 76 and whatever. The Astros were still consistent and still made the World Series that year.
the worst part about the Houston Astros and the sign stealing scandal is simply the Houston Astros are a good enough team to done all of that without stealing signs. And that is
Hmm.
just going to be the dark cloud that forever hangs over them because the Houston Astros are a damn good ball club. The Houston Astros have pretty much gotten rid of everybody from that 2017 team. The only ones really remaining are the proven, not involved in the scandal, Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman. Verlander's gone on the pitching side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that that's the one shame about it because this team is forever going to be hated because they wear Astros on their chest because of what a team did that didn't have to do it because they are that good, and they
Yeah.
will continue to be that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the three games we had here. Unless you got any additional notes on the Astros, I think that we should just move on.
Yeah, I don't have any additional notes, but I would like to talk about possibly a sleeper team.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to ask you earlier this week any additional games you wanted to add, but
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure really what the let me pull up the schedule real fast. It'll only take me a quick
I
second.
was looking at the opening day lineup here, and I didn't really see any games that stood out to me as must talk about. I didn't really
No.
see any matchups. Really, I don't know. I felt like it's a matchup wise. There's no like heavy hitters. Even like Astros White Sox feels like kind of a light hitters matchup.
I think maybe the only big hitters game is that 9-10 game tonight, Guardians Mariners.
Yeah, that very well could be.
But I don't think even then right now. But like just yeah, just looking here, yeah, it's very no, but what I was gonna say, I think like one maybe a sleeper team to look out for is possibly let's see, Baltimore. Like I feel like
Not
the Rays kind of like they might not win the division, but they might sneak in as that last wild card, like they almost did last year.
Yeah, I'm not buying into the Orioles. Not after the way their owner treated the trade deadline last year, where he essentially said they didn't want to make the playoffs. Um, which which we never talked about this, but because we didn't have the show going at the time. But
Mhm.
why do you own a baseball team then? If your goal is never to make the playoffs, does he own a baseball team simply for the money it makes?
Must
Because I
because if
thought
I
I
were an
thought the
owner,
goal was
I
to win a
would
World
care.
Series.
Yeah. See, if I were the owner of that team, I would have instead of selling, I would have bought. I mean, you have the best farm system in baseball. You could spare one or two guys.
I think they'll be a good team with all the prospects they have. And for the sake of Oriole fans and for the sake of all those players and everything, that'll be amazing to see. But God, would I love to see them flame out because of the way that owner treated their opportunity to make the playoffs.
Hmm.
Like, it was an inconvenience to him that he would have to think about buying. Oh, no, just disgusting. Just disgusting. Hopefully the Orioles are good, but I just
Yeah.
don't like their owner. That's just the wrong attitude to hold. It's the owner of the White Sox and the Bulls. Um,
Hmm.
why can't I think of his name? But the way that he treats the White Sox or treat the White Sox, not it was all about the Bulls. You had the White Sox, but it's all about the Bulls.
And then I felt like for a while there in the early, and he's owned them for a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
like
like
way back to like even the Jordan days.
yeah, and then I feel like in the early 2000s he shifted his focus because when they won the World Series,
Yeah.
And then when Derrick Rose came back, he shifted his focus again to the Bulls.
Like, it's almost because this is the thing is if you own two teams, it's almost more impressive if you put two good teams out on the court or the field or the pitch or the ice or whatever sport you own teams in than if you just focus on one. Because if you put two out there, then people are talking about, look what this owner is doing. He owns multiple teams. He's
Well, and to be honest with you, and I feel like stick to one city. Like at least the guy with the Bulls is sticking to one city. Like, I
yeah.
believe um the guy that's looking at the Commanders, he owns the New Jersey Devils and the Philadelphia 76ers. He owns he'd own three different teams in three different locations.
The Devils and the Flyers are essentially neighbors, though,
Yeah.
with
But
how
he don't
small New
own the
Jersey
Flyers, I
is.
don't think.
Or I mean the Sixers and
Yeah.
the same thing. They play in the same exact building. They quite literally are same pinpoint the Sixers and the Flyers.
But I don't understand why a guy would want to buy three different teams in three different areas.
I really don't care who buys the Commanders as long as Dan Snyder is out of the NFL.
Yeah.
Like that. I couldn't concern anything with that because I just want him gone. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
What I do know is that today is going to be a fun day for opening day baseball, and everyone make sure you tune in to games throughout the league. I know I will be.
Hmm.
And with that, we will run a quick ad break. When we come back, we are going to be talking a little bit of a throwback. I will let Dale introduce that when we get back from the break. Check us out over on the Instagram _junior_, or on the TikTok Dogs Maniac Entertainment. And as always, you can catch us here every Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Dogs Maniac Entertainment YouTube channel. All right, guys, let's get back into the show. And we are back, folks. Dale, you got something to
Yeah,
read off to us here? Introduce the
I
next
do.
segment?
So, with both the men's and women's Final Four team arriving this weekend, let's take a look back at our predictions from a couple weeks ago.
Previously on Junior and Junior.
Talk about the March Madness here quick uh, and everything. So, men's Final Four, Dale, yours already busted. So, in our
Yeah,
junior and junior group, so you're gonna have to go with a different Final Four, huh? Because you had Virginia winning the national title, and they just got upset.
I did, which was disappointing because I expected Virginia to, and they're a 4 seed, so they're not like they're a 1 seed where you kind of anticipate it. Like you always see the one in the championship mostly. So having a 4 seed kind of gives you a good odds. I thought I had good odds, but as of right now, my final four, I feel like I'm still set. It's going to, I feel like, be Kansas and Iowa are still two teams that I have left. Tennessee, I also have. And I'll pick Alabama. I think it'll be Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa, Kansas Final Four. And then I will pick Kansas, Tennessee, and have Tennessee beat Kansas in the championship game.
All right. I'm gonna stick with the four I had coming in. None of them yet to lose. Could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got Alabama versus Purdue, and I got Houston versus UConn. I got Purdue over Alabama, and I got UConn over Houston, with Purdue ultimately winning the national title.
Yeah. See, like I feel like Purdue and a couple of those other 1 seeds are good teams, but I feel like what we saw with Virginia, that one of these teams are gonna lose their luck to like one of the lower seeded teams. Like,
Well, hey, I mean,
yeah,
Alabama's a 1 seed. I'm gonna let them go through.
I think there's a lot of things that can happen, like what you were saying. But I think Alabama ultimately goes through. I think they're a team that is kind of untouchable or unstoppable. But I think there then comes a point where they make one wrong decision or one wrong mistake in the game, and that'll tilt the game the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
And then that moves us on to the women's. And the women's was quite easy for me. Dale, who do you have?
All right, people. I have the women's tournament. I have the one, the only UConn winning it all.
Who you got in the Final Four?
I got South Carolina. I got Stanford. So I got the one seeds. I got UConn, and then I also got actually no, I don't got the one seeds. I got the Lady Vols in the Final Four.
Okay.
So I got Tennessee, UConn, Stanford, and South Carolina, and it's ultimately going to be Stanford, UConn, with UConn taking the win.
Yeah. So I had a couple tough Elite Eights I had to choose between. I had South Carolina and Notre Dame. I like both those teams' chances to be in the Final Four. I ultimately went with South Carolina. And I had Stanford versus Iowa. And I ultimately think that Caitlin Clark's going to get it done for Iowa and send them to the Final Four to set up a matchup there between South Carolina and Iowa. The other two weren't so hard for me. I went with number 1, Indiana, and I went with the number 2, UConn. And I'm ultimately expecting to see an Iowa-UConn matchup with previously mentioned Caitlin Clark getting it done for the Hawkeyes over the Huskies there in the finals. Iowa national champions.
Nice.
I could have went with UConn. I would have went with UConn if they had Paige Buckets, but because she's out, I'm going with Iowa. But UConn, strong team. They got quite a few potential first-round picks in the upcoming WNBA draft. They could easily get it done. They're 2 seed, though. I think that... I don't know. Hey, I'm not questioning it. I'm not questioning my decision. I think 2 seeds are going to be in the finals. I think Iowa gets it done. I think Caitlin Clark cements a resume worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. And I think that's very fair. Well. Not to toot my own horn. But, you folks may have realized that only one men's Final Four prediction of all of our 8 here was correct. Yes, that was my pick of the UConn men. Since they helped me out by defying the odds as a 4 seed, and because overall the field is quite weak, I'm going to fix that incorrect Purdue pick with a correct UConn pick. Roll Huskies. Woof. How about your men's Final Four predictions, Dale? Rough year to make any men's Final Four predictions because the field is so screwed up. You got FAU in there. You got... Oh.
Yeah. What is it? It's UConn, FAU...
Anybody but the teams you would expect. It is such a weird field. I felt great about the Purdue pick, and then bang, down they go. San Diego State, FAU, UConn, Miami. UConn, Miami. Okay, cool. But what the hell? FAU and San Diego State are here?
I think it's FAU, UConn in the championship game.
Yeah, I want to see FAU make it to the championship just because they're a 9 seed. I think that'd be cool. So, sure, FAU, UConn.
And then they'll lose to the Huskies.
Yeah. Roll Huskies. Woof. The women's side, though, I can't exactly say went well for you. But it went a little bit better for me. My champion's still alive. That's the That's the one thing here. The only champion that's still alive. So I guess that's a positive. I wasn't right on UConn. UConn out of here losing to Ohio State. So Virginia Tech and LSU are on that bottom. But I was right on one of the Final Four matchups, and I was right in my tough Elite Eight decisions. Iowa and South Carolina to send them on to the Final Four. You got South Carolina right. But I was also right on another thing. Because, oh boy, I was so right in terms of Caitlin Clark. Showing out for Iowa. Miss Triple Double isn't stopping now. And soon she'll be Miss National Champion. And if you couldn't tell by that, I am of course going to stick with the Iowa Hawkeyes to be your women's basketball national champions. She has showed out in this tournament. Just like I was thinking was going to happen. I kept saying about her. Impressive. But yeah, really just, oh my. I wanted to do this segment of throwing it back to who we picked just because of I couldn't believe how messed up this tournament was and how off we were really on picks. I forgot that I even had UConn right until I was rewatching last night. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, UConn did make it. Crazy field.
Yeah, the Lady UConn's really disappointed me this year.
I know.
Lady Huskies.
I thought they were a lock. I felt great about that Iowa UConn matchup. I guess some things don't go your way, folks. And other things that don't go your way are heading to an album review. I don't know how that don't go your way. That was a great transition on my part. Other things don't go your way, though, when you run out of time. So, folks, we're going to head to an ad break. We'll be right back. When we come back, we will talk. Did you know there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard from Lana Del Ray? Long title. To keep it shorter, guys, I lovingly refer to it as DYKTTUOB. Much shorter. Alright, folks, we will be right back. And when we come back, we will be talking DYKTTUOB from Lana Del Ray. Oh, folks. Folks, you ever wanted some official Dogs Maniac Entertainment merchandise? Well, you can head over to tpublic.com/Dogs Maniac, where you can pick up the Welcome to the Dog Pound Zam and Max Plant approved as Plant Pipeline, as well as the Winning Doggy Style since 1965 merchandise. What you cannot pick up is the I Like Ike shirt, because that trader now plays for Michigan State. Goodbye, Isaac Howard. And we are back. Goodbye, Isaac Howard. If anybody's wondering, I did not have time to update the merch graphic, so I haven't gotten rid of the I Like Ike shirt yet. I haven't even gotten rid of it on the website. If you guys want to go buy it, it will be up there for the rest of the week. But after Sunday at midnight, it is gone. Monday morning, there will be no more I Like Ike shirts. So yeah, but if you want to buy it, I don't know why you would. The colors don't match anyway. Maybe we could make a Michigan State version, but it don't make sense to have anymore. But with that, we will talk about the album. I'll do a little intro here, and yeah, we'll straight into it. Did you know there's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard is the 9th studio album from Lana Del Ray, releasing back just last Friday, March 24th, 2023, meaning we are officially back to brand new album reviews here on the show. Now, folks, with all that talked, let's get into what Junior has to say. Dale, the floor is yours.
Well, I didn't like it.
I seen that coming.
I mean,
Coming.
I'm not a Lana Del Ray fan, so her music, I don't like her music. So that's just me. I mean, it was a good album. There was a couple good songs, a couple bad songs. I just didn't like it. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, though. I'm going to keep it short and sweet this week.
Favorite song, least favorite song?
Favorite song? Well, favorite song was Paris, Texas. I really like that one. And then my least favorite, probably the John Batista interlude. I didn't like that one much.
Yeah, I just don't call interludes for review purposes because they're not really songs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Then if that was the case, then Candy Necklace I didn't like that much.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like those interludes either, though. I think that I get why artists use them, but like, they're not usually not needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, fair. 5 out of 10. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna say I was very much looking forward to this album and the opportunity to review it. But I must say, I really don't know how to feel about it now. For once, I'm stumped on giving a review, and yeah, I just feel it's best to say a few words and describe this as best as I can, and not overly saturate it. First, what do I think this album was bad? No, not by any means. But was it an interesting listen? Now, that's a yes. I suppose it's to be expected with Lana Del Ray. So what can you say? Overall, I found it hard to select a favorite song. Ultimately, I decided on A&W, but really, I felt other solid options could have been the title track, which we're not saying, but also known as DYKTTTUOB. Didn't you do that? I mean, I also think Candy Necklace could have been an option. I think that Paris, Texas was a good song. I do think that was an option. When it came to least favorite, though, I think the album just got better after it, and maybe not consistently better, but better overall, and that is the opening track, The Grants. It's just personally my least favorite. If I'm giving a rating here, which I am, I'm going to do something for the first time since Fearless from Taylor Swift, and it wasn't as hard this time. It wasn't because the artist is just too good that you need to lower some of her ratings. You need to tamper expectations. I'm giving this album my lowest rating so far, a 6 out of 10. Not bad, but also nothing special. Not something I personally need to keep in my repertoire of albums to listen to. It's one that I've heard it. I can move on. Lana Del Rey's got better music, I think. And yeah, just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I think we're kind of on the same page here with this album. It's just it's nothing. It's weird. I don't know. Just didn't really float my boat.
That's why I had no words.
But what I can tell you is next week is an album that we can talk about. With nothing new catching my eye for this week in music releases. Next week, Junior is going to jump back a couple months and pick up an album that got caught up in the Tour of the Eras, and I was sad to see it not get a review. Next week, Junior is going to take a look at Gracie Abrams' Good Riddance. Dale, you didn't have to listen to Gracie Abrams with me.
Okay.
No, you do this week. You didn't have to when I reviewed her for the Tour of the Eras, when I did her.
Okay.
This is what it feels like, and stuff. But people that did tune into that show, though, that were there, would know that I am a huge fan of Gracie Abrams. Gracie Abrams is one of my favorite artists, and I seen the perfect opportunity. I've been looking to get this album in somewhere because I had kind of alluded to it when I talked about her back during the tour.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get this in somewhere, and I was like, ooh, not really seeing anything this week. Let's pop it in right there. So next week, Gracie Abrams, Good Riddance, and with that, we are going to call this show to an end. A lot of hand movements. Yeah, folks, we will see you guys right back here next Wednesday, or next Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can also catch some other content here on the Dogs Maniac Entertainment YouTube channel. Check out the WWE 2K23 universe with myself and Andrew. I'm like the main host of that. We haven't had Andrew on for an episode since the draft, but give that guys a check out. I like it. I think that it's good content. We're going to have more content coming here soon. And with that, I will let you guys go. Have a blessed opening day in baseball. Play ball, baby.